Hello, everybody. Oh, and welcome to Mr. Z TV. I am Mr. Z, and once again, I have some very exciting StarCraft 2 games to cast for you. So, today, our first match will be Duckload Raw, yes indeed, White Raw, against the one and only Sen, playing as softball. So it will be a Protoss vs Zerg, as I'm sure many of you know. White Raw plays Protoss and Sen plays Zerg, and both of these players, oh my god, are they good. I especially love Sen because he's the Taiwanese superhero, and I'm Taiwanese too, so a little Asian pride there. But Sen, one of my favorite Zerg players, and I just love his aggressive Zerg style. That's just what I like to see out of softball, and he never fails to disappoint. So that's just a little bit of background information on softball. He's one of the top Asian players, I guess foreigners, if you consider anybody outside of Korea foreign. And Sen, just a super strong Zerg player. Absolutely love him. And the map we'll be spectating today is Lost Temple, so PvZ on Lost Temple, and it looks like the two players have spawned close air positions, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, close air positions, the one thing to say about this kind of setup here is your expansions are somewhat easier to take, because the map is split in half, as opposed to if you got closed positions, where the expansions are kind of shared. And so you actually have to go to the other side of the map to try to get your expansions, and those can be quite hard to defend against the Protoss race. But in this case, none of that. The map is split quite nicely. But still, Lost Temple is still, I think, one of the hardest maps to take that early third on. But we'll have to see how these two players choose to play it out. It looks like White Raw opting to put his Cyber Core as part of the wall off. His Gateway is not. That's actually kind of interesting to me. I believe the Cyber Core has less health than the Gateway. Oh, it actually has more health. I eat my words. Learn something new every day. But White Raw going to be opting to wall off with that Cyber Core, and it looks like Sen is going to be getting that hatch up just as a spawning pool finishes. So it's the hatch first build with like a gas and a pool. And so this is looking fairly solid here, and the Overlord pops right then, and we get a Queen on the way. The second Queen at the same time, so this is some very nice timing. And Duckload Raw moving out with one Zealot, looking to put a little bit of pressure on our friendly neighborhood Sen here. And here we go, a Stalker being chrono boosted out, and this is quite a strong push for the Protoss players, especially if it catches the Zerg player unaware. But he does put down that Spine Crawler, so he's going to be just fine, and he has a nice amount of Zerglings to defend this first Zealot, and that's really, oh my goodness, and that is really the key thing about this push, is you really want to stop the Zealot. Not really microing that one Zergling too well, and he loses one. He loses three, actually, to that one Zealot, and so these Zerglings will have to back up when the Stalker arrives, but the Spine Crawler already nearly done. And it looks like the aggression from this push is going to be hampered here. Now, Duckload Raw taking an expansion of his own, and this is really quite a fast expansion. If Sen decides to go for some speedling timing, that could be really bad. But here is one of the things that makes Sen so unique. He opts to skip that Zergling speed that most Zerg players favor. In fact, he has 100 gas now. You can see that it's almost like he has no intention of getting that Zergling speed first. Sen opts to get the layer first, and the first time I saw this, Sen opted to go for a build that included Hydralisks and a Nidus Worm on the cliff, and we can see now this Overlord, very well placed, giving you sight up to that high ground, allowing you to place that Nidus Worm that will be going down. I think that is what Sen is going for here, and because White Raw has fast expanded, then Sen can actually threaten this expansion from the high ground here if he goes for that Hydralisk Nidus Worm build here. And that certainly seems very likely to me. Layer is now finished, a very fast layer, and let's go take a look at what White Raw sees. He may not know, he only sees the hatchery, he sees just the extractor and the hatchery, so he's not going to be, he's probably, unless he's played Sen a bunch of times, he's probably not going to be expecting this. Already getting the robo facility, so this is quite nice. Getting that observer up is so key to seeing up that high ground and being able to deal with this Hydralisk Nidus style, but if that Overlord becomes an Overseer and Sen snipes out that Observer, that could spell a lot of trouble for White Rod here. So we're going to have to see how he decides to play this out. And it looks like the Hydra Den is done. And Hydralisk range is going down, and oh my god, look at Sen. This is another important thing about the build. Sen has practiced this build quite a lot and knows that if there's a big front push while he's doing that Nidus Worm move, and there we go, inevitably, that Nidus Worm is down, so we are going to see that really aggressive playstyle. Sen realizes that if there's a big front push coming, he needs these spine crawlers to be down to save him, and that is just so important. And White Raw moving up here, it looks like he realizes that something's going to be on the high ground, and yep, White Raw, very on top of his game, realizes that something may be up, and he just moves that, he just gets that observer there and checks the high ground. I think he saw the Overlord, I'm pretty sure he did, and but maybe not, because he's sending this observer here. Oh, I thought White Rod was going to scout that very nicely, but instead it seems like he missed it. And a bunch of Hydralisks are out now. The Nidus Worm is building, and White Raw is moving out of his base. Now, where is that observer? That is a big question. Oh, no! And it just now scouts the Nidus Worm. So White Raw double times it back to his base. No other observers being made here. And it looks like the Nidus Worm is down. The Hydralisks go to work on the expansion, and that stops all mining instantly. And now, Sen can go for either this extractor or these pylons, or maybe even that gateway, all of which are in trouble, and these mineral patches here on the natural expansion. Meanwhile, Sen very smartly taking a third. While he has his opponent contained, he's going to expand and try to get an economic advantage, and there goes another pylon. These Hydralisks are doing such good work, and you can see they can reach that gateway there, but it looks like Sen playing slightly carefully. Now, the dangerous part of this is, while he nearly gets another probe kill. There we go. The dangerous part of this is if the observer creeps up and the sentries force field the Hydralisks in. Oh, here they come, and it looks like Sen is more than prepared for this. He's going to back up, but the sentry still can get those force fields. Sen needs to be very careful, and he's going to lose another Hydralisk, a queen out here too, and that's going to, he was putting creep tubers on this high ground, perhaps thinking of building a spine crawler, but it looks like this Nidus Worm pressure is going to be stopped by that single observer there. But what that means is the front of Sen's base is safe, and all the while he's been expanding, he's been able to get a few more drones, and he's just being he's just working on these stalkers very safely from the high ground. And look at that very nice concave. Oh, and an overseer coming in. This is exactly what I said. You really need to keep that observer alive, and it looks like White Raw will pull that observer back. Meanwhile, a Colossus coming out from White Raw, and once that pops out, that is going to stop this Nidus Worm aggression. And look at that saturation by Sen. That is some very good droning there while this pressure is going on. And it looks like, take a look at the income tab, Sen is finally getting the harvester count that he really wants, and he's going to be on 3 bases, so that is just about as much gas as you want in the mid-game Zerg situation. And it looks like he's getting a bunch more probe kills here. Very cost-effective Nidus Worm harass, but now the Colossus is out, and it looks like this aggression will be stopped right here. Uh-oh, losing a few more Hydralisks than he should. Oh, is he going to target fire the Colossus? No, it looks like he's just going for the normal units here. He might be able to snipe down 1 or 2 sentries, and it looks like he does, but look at all those Hydralisks just frying there. And now, finally, the Nidus Worm will go down. But another thing, and Roaches coming out. They might be able to take this Colossus down. It looks like the Colossus is target firing that Nidus Worm, and that is very good. It is going to trap the Roaches up here, and the Colossus comes so close to dying. Let's go back and take a look at Sen's tech patterns. He's got an Evo Chamber up, doing upgrades, Speed Roach on the way. No Spire in sight, but the Colossi are out, and they are about, and range just now on the way. So Sen might want to be thinking about getting a Spire soon. Meanwhile, White Raw broke down the back rocks here at his high yield expansion, and he's going to be taking his third. So White Raw doing very well to stay in the game. If this expansion had been any later, it would have been really bad for White Raw, but having this expansion up and ready to be mining, that is going to give White Raw a huge income, as Sen opted to go for not the high yield, but the the opposite base's natural expansion there. And now only is he breaking down the rocks, and I would really like it if Sen took that expansion right about now, because it's as good a time as any other. Scouting probe moving in now, and he's going to see a ton of creep spread, and that's about it as the Zerglings chew away at that probe there. And right now, just a little bit of passivity, but look at how many roaches Sen has. That economy really swinging in for him, and this observer is going to pass right by and see every single one of them. Range is not finished on the Colossi just yet, and that might make these roaches very strong. The composition is very zealot heavy, and roaches will chew through those zealots very quickly here. And look at that spread by Sen. He doesn't want to engage into those force fields, and it looks like range does finish for the Colossi finally, and a bunch of stalkers being warped in. So White Raw just barely safe from that timing push. Very good play by White Raw. Just really cutting it very thinly on the timings, and that is really what you want to be doing as a solid player. You want to be able to squeeze out as much economy as you can while still being able to defend a push from your opponent. And now all these roaches for Sen gonna have to play a little bit more passively. He can't convert the money he spent just yet into something profitable, but we'll have to see what happens when these corruptors that are coming on the production tab. You can see we'll have to see what these corruptors can do. And I said earlier that Sen might want to get that spire up, and it looks like he has, so I think Sen is going to be in a pretty good position here, transitioning the uses of those spine crawlers out, but it looks like they'll get caught before they burrow. Some more force fields down, and the roaches get some very good surface area on the stalkers there. It looks like White Raw's army is 1-1, and Ling's coming in from the back, and this could be very bad for Sen. Those upgrades for White Raw could really kick in here, and it looks like it will. Just so many stalkers left. The Colossi, for the most part, are down, but one more reinforcing, and the corruptors are all gone, and this is really bad for Sen. The upgrades are really kicking in for White Raw's army, and it looks like all the zealots will be down now, but that Immortal doing a lot of damage and more stalkers on the way, and this one Colossi just going to work on the Zerglings and even the roaches. But now it looks like it will be target fired down, and to the 2 weak stalkers get taken out. A single spine crawler left, and it won't get a kill, and it doesn't get the kill. Overlord's now without speed. That is free food for White Raw, and this is just such a good, such solid gameplay by White Raw here. He was under a lot of pressure from that Nidoswarm, but he just kept cool, did not overreact, did not pump out an excessive amount of observers. He just patiently waited until the Colossi tech was out, and it looks like the last few roaches will be falling for Softball, otherwise known as Sen. And White Raw just pushing into Sen's base very strongly. All the roaches that Sen threw at White Raw taken out. And it looks like finally Sen's army is diminishing in sizes as they come and come and come. And all the creep tumors are down now. And all White Raw has to do is just stand in this position, and good game. There we go. There you have it, gentlemen. White Raw showing exactly why he is one of the top Protoss players in the world. Absolutely beautiful play. I hope you guys have enjoyed this game between Sen and White Raw on Mr. Z TV. That is JustinTV/Mr. Z TV. And if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Justin TV, I should say, you can also watch this on YouTube at youtube.com/Mr. Z StarCraft. Awesome. Those are some great games, and now we will be going into the next game. So go ahead and look at the video archives if you are interested. If you are tuning in live here, we will be tuning in to that game shortly.